Hi, welcome to your daily dose of sales inception. I am Drew Norton, the everyday sales leader. And today, what I'm really excited to talk about is how building rapport doesn't matter. And I'm sure the first thing that might be coming to your mind is I say that is Drew, you're crazy. Like having a good relationship with people and establishing a connection is a huge part of my sales process. Like building rapport is important. And while I do see the value in building rapport with people, I've also found people will still buy at the end of the day whether or not they like you. And people will still, sometimes people will not move forward and they really like you. And so having this connection with people isn't typically what's going to make your sale or not. I really believe that people purchase when they see value, not when they like or dislike their salesperson. And just to give you an example of that, my wife and I, not long after being married, someone borrowed our car. They got into an accident with it, and we had to go buy our first car. And we found the car we wanted. We found the car that fit our budget. And looking back at the experience I had with the salesperson, I did not like our salesperson. In fact, if I could have picked someone else in the dealership and given his commission away, I would have. He was condescending. He was rude. He wasn't very helpful. And I just felt like he dropped the ball on a couple things along the way. And at the same time, I've had salespeople I've met with or worked with that I really liked that I didn't buy from and I didn't move forward from. And they did a great job of establishing rapport with me. And so the point I'm trying to make is, look, if you believe that building rapport is going to be what makes your sale, it's not. And at the same time, it can create a more awesome connection. It can lead to more referrals. Building rapport is an important thing to do with people, but it isn't what makes your sale. It's helping people see the value. And so, I mean, I can even think of, we went on vacation the last year or two, and I think my wife and I love to travel quite a bit. I think we were in Mexico, and my wife thought she was signing up for like a breakfast to tour a new hotel or resort, that we were going to get a free breakfast to tour this. And it turned out it was basically a timeshare type presentation. So they put you through this long presentation, basically keep you there for 2 or 3 hours and try to strong arm you into buying things. And honestly, the sales guy was super cool. Really liked him. I thought he did a great job of establishing rapport. We just didn't see value in the timeshare that they proposed. And I won't get into all the details of that, other than we just felt like their locations and options that it was going to allow us to visit. And it wasn't a timeshare in a traditional sense where you are at one single property. It allowed you to access multiple properties all over the world. And it technically wasn't a timeshare. Getting a little bit off topic. Long story short, though, we just didn't see any value in it. The cost for what we got, we just felt like, hey, we'd only be able to go to these places and we'd only be able to vacation here at this price going forward. And we don't want to feel like that our vacation budget can only go towards this going forward. So listen, if a big part of your sales process is getting someone to like you, I'm not saying to scratch that. What I am saying is, are they buying because they see the value or not? And I do believe, though, that people do care to know that the salesperson they're working with understands them. And so I think that's why sometimes rapport is made to be such a big thing. I think when someone understands, you know what? Drew understands me. This salesperson understands me. They know what I need. They know where I'm trying to get. They have the solution. That's when people start to buy. And so I do believe I believe there's an element of rapport that's important. I believe that having empathy is very important. And you still have to create massive value at the end of the day. I think the way that you show empathy and you show that you understand is, one, you ask lots of questions where you can get them to discover some things and say some things, and then you start repeating back what you're hearing to them. And you make sure that as you repeat those things back, you show you're listening, and you show by the conclusions you draw that you're an expert and that you know what you're talking about, and that you're going to be able to help them get to where they want to go. So maybe a little bit of a controversial thing. I love to have great rapport with my clients. I think when you build a good relationship, you take great care of people, and they have great value in your product or service, having that rapport and relationship often leads to referrals, leads to people speaking good and highly of you, and rapport is not going to be the reason your prospect buys at the end of the day. Hope you enjoyed today's dose of daily inception, sales inception. I'm Drew, the Everyday Sales Leader.